Yeah, what's the deal? It's your boy who was in doing. We back talking sports. So yeah, man, we got my boy Uncut Hoops talking about the ESPN top 100 list. You know what I'm saying? I did a video on it. It's trash. That's all I gotta say. Let's go.
Takes and terrible rankings. And when it comes to the NBA, one of their annual traditions is doing an NBA top 100 list. And virtually every year, the list is complete garbage. If I really broke down this list, it would take me close to 5 hours. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to focus on the top 20, really break it down, and show why ESPN's list, once again, is complete and utter garbage. So getting to the top
Straight dookie.
20, looking at our first 5 players. At number 20, we have Anthony Davis. 19, Bradley Beal. 18, Rudy Gobert. 17, Jimmy Butler. And 16, Trae Young. And first off, looking at Anthony Davis, having him number 20 is always due to injuries and not being healthy. As last year,
Anthony Davis is a top 10 player when healthy, but he's never healthy. So it's like, you know what I'm saying? He can't go through a full season without getting help, without, you know what I'm saying, getting banged up. I mean, some players just like that.
He didn't play half the season. In the past 2 years, has only played 76 games. And putting injuries aside, when AD is on the court and healthy, his overall play has fallen off a cliff these past 2 years. Collectively, only averaging 22.5 points, on sub 25% from 3.
And you got people thinking this man gonna win MVP. What indication has he given you that he's gonna be in the MVP form this year? That he gonna win MVP? He been in the league almost 10 years, bro. He still ain't won it. Like, he done came top 5, I know, a couple times, but he still ain't won it. Like, he got to show me. Because, I mean, it really don't matter because I think the Warriors repeating anyways.
And his overall record is a pitiful 40-36. Now, looking at number 19, when I saw Bradley Beal this high, I was a little surprised, as DeMar DeRozan, Donovan Mitchell, and especially Jaylen Brown all had vastly better and more successful 2022 seasons.
Yeah, they got him for the wrong season. The season before, when him and Steph was going for the scoring title, is, you know what I'm saying, where he should have, like, this would have been cool. But he was too high because he wasn't as good as he was last year.
And looking more in depth at Beal, it's really hard to say he's a winning player at this point in his career. As in Washington, he doesn't have much help, but his overall stats and numbers translate to very little wins. As Washington once again missed the playoffs and failed to win a playoff series for the 6th straight year with Bradley Beal at the helm.
At Fogo the Show, it starts with wine.
I think that's unfair, though, because he really don't, like, he got a little bit of help now, but he really has never had no real help since John Wall left, bro. Like, that, I don't think that's fair, like, to say he can't be a winning player. If you ship him off somewhere, you know what I'm saying, team him up with somebody, like, if Bradley Beal was to go to, let's say, Portland. Let's say Bradley Beal go to Portland or some shit like that. They would be making the playoffs and be in a deep run with, like, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, I don't think you can say that.
From somewhere more exotic than...
Now, looking at number 18, I was once again pretty surprised, as Rudy Gobert cracked the top 20. If you guys know me, when it comes to Gobert, I am not a big fan. And on my own personal list, he would not be in the top 20, let alone the top 25.
All he is a defensive stopper, bro. He has no offensive game, bro.
As when it comes to playoffs, year in and year out, Gobert's play style is heavily limited in the big-time moments, offensively as well as defensively. If you want to see Exhibit A of that, look at the Clippers series from 2 years ago or this past year versus the Dallas Mavericks. Now, looking at our last 2 spots, at number 17, we have Jimmy Butler, and number 16, Trae Young.
I thought Jimmy Butler was too low. I really didn't have a problem with Trae Young, but I thought Jimmy Butler was too low. I thought Jimmy Butler should have been at least top 13, top 12. You feel me? You know what I'm saying? I thought Jimmy Butler should have been at least top 12, bro. You know what I'm saying? I got Jimmy Butler 11th on my list.
First off, I think both these players should be higher. I think Jimmy at least 5 spots higher, and Trey probably 2 or 3. And Jimmy not cracking top 15 after the playoffs he had, I think is a pretty bold take. As in the first round, he outplayed Trey Young, locked him down, had a great series. In the second round, beat James Harden, who ESPN ranked 11th. In the conference finals, went toe-to-toe with Brown and Tatum and the best defensive team in the entire NBA. And versus Boston in that series, he put up some pretty eye-popping stats, having 47 points, 41, as well as 30.
Playoff Jimmy, this is why he should be ranked at least top 12. 25.6 points per game, 7 rebounds, 3.4 assists on 47% field goal. And this is, he averaging 25-7 with him not being a great three-point shooter. You know what I'm saying? And leading a team where his second best player is what? In the playoffs was what? Matt Strus. Sometimes Adebayo was like on and off. And Jimmy had a couple bad games, but he showed up and carried that team basically to the motherfucking Eastern Conference Finals again. And if he make that 3, they go into the finals. I think they losing, but they go into the finals again. So give Jimmy a second star for real, like because I don't think he's gonna be able to get over the hump with this team because I don't think he have a second person that can really get his own shot for real. Or Tyler Hero gonna have to step up.
5 and was 1 shot away from making the NBA Finals for the second time in 3 years. Now, getting to the top 15, at number 15, you have Paul George, number 14, Dame Lillard, number 13, Cat, number 12, Kawhi, and number 11, James Harden.
Number 1, Karl-Anthony Towns is too high. James Harden is way too high. I got James Harden like somewhere in 20, 21. Like somewhere in the top 20. Like he in the top 25, but bro, he not top 15. James Harden is not, he barely top 20 now, bro. Like, come on, bro. And Karl-Anthony Towns is too high, bro. I don't have a problem with Dame Lillard or Paul George personally. Like, I think Dame, you know what I'm saying, is a top 8 player when healthy.
And looking at 15 and 14, you have both Dame and PG, debatably top 10 players when healthy. And for both these guys last year, they were in pretty similar spots, as PG only played 31 games and missed the playoffs, and Dame Lillard only played 29 and missed the playoffs for the first time since 2013. Looking at their individual play, they definitely had pretty impressive years, but for PG and Dame standards, it definitely wasn't their best. And looking at both these guys for 2023, I expect big bounce-back seasons and much improved play. And when it's all said and done, I think one of these two is a borderline top 10 player, maybe 11 or even 12. Now, look.
I would take, personally, if I had to choose between Dame Lillard and Paul George, I would have to really take Paul George right now. Just because I think he's better on the defensive end, and I think he was playing better last year. I would take Paul George over Damian Lillard, like right now. But I know Dame, I know who Dame is. Dame is always in my top 7. But this nigga is too high. There's no way Karl-Anthony Towns is the 13th best player. I'm sorry.
At number 13, you have Karl-Anthony Towns, one of the biggest shockers of his entire list. And I mean no disrespect, but looking at Cat, I really never saw him as a guy who had the it factor as an NBA superstar. He's definitely very talented.
Because if he did, they would have not allowed what happened to them last year, bro. He could have showed everybody that they for real. They choked against Memphis. Minnesota, if you watch that series, that Minnesota-Memphis series, Minnesota should have won that series, bro. They were up double digits in multiple games. Like it was just ridiculous, bro. You could tell the experience. You could tell they just faltered, and Karl Anthony Towns was on that floor. Anthony Edwards was on that floor. Like,
great player, he can shoot from deep, and his overall offensive game is pretty versatile. But the one piece you're looking for, the fire, the dog, the alpha mentality, I never got that vibe from Cat. If he had some KG in him, he would easily be a top 10 player. And looking at number 12, ESPN, they had Kawhi Leonard, which I 100% understand. As last year, Kawhi didn't play like a basketball and was hurt the entire season. Now, even with that being said, when Kawhi is on the court, even with one leg, I'm taking him over James Harden, who ESPN ranked at number 11. As James Harden...
And that's facts. I'll take Jimmy Butler over James Harden. I take Jimmy Butler definitely over James Harden. I don't know if I would take Trey over James Harden. I don't know. No, I don't know if I would take Trey Young over James Harden, but I would take Jimmy Butler for sure. And I'd take Paul George over James Harden.
In last year's playoffs, I found absolutely pathetic. Versus Miami, he averaged 18.2 points per game on 41, 36, 94 splits with 4.8 turnovers.
And I'd take Damian Lillard too.
In Game 5, he had 14 points, and in Game 6, facing elimination, only had 11. This version of James Harden...
How was this nigga top... It's like they don't see the playoffs. Like, how is this nigga top 11, bro? Come on.
Is not a top 15 player, and definitely not number 11 ahead of Kawhi Leonard. Now, finally, getting the top 10. At number 10, you had Devin Booker. Number 9, John Morant. Number 8, Kevin Durant. And number 7, Jason Tatum. And looking at Devin Booker first, saying he's top 10 doesn't even sound right. He's definitely very close on the edge, climbing the hill to get there, but at this point, he's simply not top 10. As last year in the second round...
I agree after last year. Before last year, I was saying that Devin Booker is top 10. But now, I say he's top 15, though. But I take Jimmy Butler over Devin Booker right now. I take Kawhi over Devin Booker, of course. But Kawhi was injured last year. You know what I'm saying? I still, you know what I'm saying? I would take those two, definitely. I'd take Paul George over Devin. Well, no, I'd take Devin Booker over Paul George. Yeah.
He was completely embarrassed and emasculated, specifically in the Game 7 with the Lucas special. Now, looking one spot up, you have John Morant, the 22-year-old phenom, who last year averaged 27 games, up 8 points in the previous year, as Memphis team were on an absolute tear.
What if just one product could firm, even, and hydrate? Meet Paula's Choice new C5 Super Boost Moisturizer.
Team were on an absolute tear. And when it came to the NBA playoffs for Ja, he definitely had some learning moments, but he had some games that were absolutely insane. In the first round versus Minnesota, he nearly averaged a 22-point triple-double despite not playing his best basketball. And versus Golden State, he averaged 38 a game, and in Game 2, scored 47 points. The ceiling for John Morant, if he's healthy, is a top 5 player. As offensively...
Shit, I believe it could be the best player in the world. I believe his ceiling even higher than that. He could be the best player in the world at some point in time.
He's dynamic, he's must-see TV, and very similar to Steph Curry, he's going to have one play every night where you shake your head and you're in absolute awe. It could be a dunk, a three-pointer, a buzzer beater, whatever it is, John Morant, he can do it, and going forward, he'll 100% be a top 10 player. Now, look at number 8, number 7, you have Tatum as well as Kevin Durant.
I made a video about this. This is egregious. Don't disrespect KD like this. I love Jason Tatum, but Jason Tatum's not better than KD, bro. I love Jason Tatum. I think Jason Tatum is a top 8 player in the league. but he's not better than KD. And KD is a top 5 player in his sleep. I don't give a fuck what happened in that Boston series. And I was shitting on KD. Like, damn, KD, what happened, nigga? Look at my nigga Steph. But KD, no. He's not the 8th best player in the world. He top 5 easy. And it shouldn't even be no debate. Like, for real. He averaged 30 last year. Y'all forgot they was in the first seed before he got injured. And at least he got his team to play in. I don't think LeBron should be ranked over Kevin Durant, personally. Like, there's no way you can have KD 8th and he got his team to the playoffs, even though they got swept.
And as a Celtics fan and a big KD critic, come on, guys, let's not do this. Jason Tatum is a great young player, and in last year's playoffs was fantastic until the NBA Finals. But as an individual player, compared to Kevin Durant, Tatum at this point is not better. Once again, I'm a big KD critic, and even...
Not yet, but personally, he could have the potential to. But if Jason Tatum win 2 titles, an MVP, I think Jason Tatum got the potential to be better than Kevin Durant. Still only 24. He has made it to the finals. You know what I'm saying? But right now, he's not better than Kevin Durant. KD is still a monster.
I have to acknowledge he had a fantastic year despite his playoff struggles. As many forget, he averaged 30 a game with virtually no consistency. As James Harden was the midnight buffet and Kyrie Irving was watching Alex Jones. And looking at one of KD's big rivals, at number 6, ESPN had LeBron James. And for me, I'm kind of conflicted with his placement. As with LeBron James as an individual player, he is definitely a top 5 guy. But last year, evaluating his season, specifically looking at defense and his impact on...
I'd say top 7.
Winning, it was not there like in past LeBron seasons. Yes, averaging 30 at age 37, it's unprecedented and very impressive. But compared to the top tier players, most of these guys have an impact on winning, at least on one of the court, if not 2. If you have LeBron James top 5, number 4, even number 3, I want to 100% get that. But for my list, I think number 6 is definitely fair and pretty reasonable. Now, looking at our top 5, at number 5, you have the worst pick of this entire list.
Listen. This is what niggas be talking about, bro. This next one is the whole reason I even did a reaction to this video. And did a reaction to the ESPN shit. They keep disrespecting Stephen Curry like he not him, bro. Like he didn't just win the championship or average 31, 5, and 6 on 48% shooting and 44% from the field. 44% from 3. Like he didn't finish on the defensive end 13th in defensive rating. Go look it up. In the world, 13th in the defensive rating league-wide. What the fuck? Like, what? How you got him at number 5 and you got Joel Embiid, Luka above him, and he beat both of them? Not Joel Embiid, but beat Luka, and Joel Embiid flamed out in the second round. Come on, bro.
Absolutely shameful from ESPN. As at number 5, they had Steph Curry, the 4-time champion and reigning Finals MVP. Last year, Steph checked every single box you look for in an all-time great player. He was consistent, he came through when it mattered most, in the finals, he was fearless, and through the entire season, elevated his team and raised their ceiling. Offensively speaking, what one player brings to a team, Steph at this point is in the top 1%. And looking at the NBA Finals, he had the best series of his finals career. He averaged 31.2 points per game. In Game 1, he had 21 in the first quarter. Game 4, scored 43 in the Garden. And in Game 6, the closeout game, had 34, 7, and 7 on insane shooting splits. How can a guy who leads his team to the NBA Finals, plays terrific, is clutch, hits the big-time shots, not be at minimum a top 3 player? And Steph being 5th on its own is a pretty bad choice.
Fuck top 3, top 2, bro. And on my list, he ain't 2. No disrespect to Giannis. If you got Giannis, I'm not gonna go fight you. I'm gonna be like, touche. But that's crazy. No way Steph is 5. No way.
But looking at number 4, you have Joel Embiid, who always is a flameout in the playoffs. Granted, he had an MVP caliber season in the regular season, but per usual, come playoff time, he didn't show up, he was hurt, and his team once again failed to make it past the second round for the 6th straight year. Contrast that with Steph Curry, who won the NBA Finals in his 4th championship, and there's no way you can have Embiid over him.
I think they do this on purpose, bro.
We can't go outside. It's too hot.
Now look.
I think they do this on purpose, bro. Like, I think they discount Steph or slight Steph on purpose.
At number 3, they had Luka Doncic, which is understandable given his conference finals run. On my personal list, he's definitely top 5, but he's not ahead of Steph Curry. And looking at last year's playoffs, he was phenomenal, leading his team in points, assists, rebounds, as well as steals, and being second in blocks. Offensively, there is very few players in NBA history who can carry a roster like Luka. Now, my one big critique of Doncic.
I have no problem with this one. Luka is that dude, bro. But on the defensive end, he got to get way better if he want to be one of the real greats.
Of course, is the defensive end. As versus Golden State, he was definitely picked on and exploited by someone like Andrew Wiggins. The only big major hole in Luka's game is the defensive end of the floor. Granted, he has gotten better defensively, but is far from a great defender or even average defender. To be a top 3 player, 90% of the time, you have to be a positive or at least neutral on the defensive end. And pretty surprising to me, looking at number 2, ESPN had Nikola Jokic, one of the best offensive bigs and passing bigs in NBA history. And very similar to Luka, Jokic last year carried his team, leading them in points, rebounds, assists, steals, and blocks. And for Denver next year, when they're healthy, having Jamal Murray and Michael Porter Jr., at bare minimum, they're going to be a top 5 seed. And Jokic finally will silence the doubters and make a deep playoff run with a healthy Nuggets squad. Now, last but not least, looking at number 1,
I had to see it to believe it. I think Jokic is absolutely great, but I had to see it to believe it.
have Giannis Antetokounmpo, who at this point is the undisputed best player in the world. So with Giannis being number 1, that's our last player, and the end of ESPN's top 20. My major gripes with this list are Steph Curry, Kevin Durant, and Jimmy being way too low. And guys like Kat, Bradley Beal, James Harden, even Tatum being a tad too high. And looking at my own list, I try to remain consistent, looking at playoff success, overall play, individual greatness, and elevation of your own team. I had Giannis number 1, Curry number 2, KD number 3, Jokic 4, Luka 5, LeBron 6, 7 Embiid, Kawhi with an asterisk 8, number 9 Tatum, and number 10 Jimmy. Let me know what you guys think of my top 10 list. Is it worse than ESPN's? Is it better?
I agree with this one even more, to be honest, even though I got Curry first. So yeah, man, this been Who Is Hendo, man. I'm out.